In this video, I'm going to walk you through the very basics in Premiere Pro. My very first step, even before opening up Premiere Pro, is to create a main folder. I usually name it like this: the year, the month, the day, and then the name of the project. After my folder is made, I start adding assets to it. Assets such as videos, photos, music, and my company logo. Once I add everything I need to my project folder, it usually looks like this, with lots of things inside and no structure. This is not a good way to start a project. I recommend you follow my steps to stay highly organized and have a better workflow. Inside my project folder, I make the following folders. I create folder 1, name it 00 Prem Pro. Folder 2, name it Vids. Folder 3, name it Pics. Folder 4, name it Music. Now move all the assets to where they belong. All the videos in the Vids folder, all the images in the Pics folder, and all the audio in the Music folder. So let me show you what that looks like on my desktop. Here I have the folder that I created, my main project, the year, the month, the day, and we're going to name this project A Day at School. Inside my folder, I have all my assets. I'm going to create folders like I told you, 00 Prem Pro. Right click, new folder, Vids. My next folder, I'm going to name it Pics. And my other folder, I'm going to name it Music. All right, so now I'm going to separate all the assets into their belonging folders. Here's another image. Here's 2 music files. I'm going to drop them inside Music. And everything else, oh, here's the logo. So this goes in the Pics. And everything else seems like it's a video, MP4s, MOVs. These are all videos. So I'm going to drag all these into my Vids folder. All right, so here we are, organized. We are ready to open up Premiere Pro. All right, so when we come to this welcome screen, the button I want to click is up here. It says New Project. Click on this, give it a name. We called it A Day at School. Now I'm going to tell Premiere Pro where I want this project to be saved. Click here, choose location, and it is on my desktop. Here it is, A Day at School. Double click, and I want this project to be saved inside my 00 Prem Pro folder. Double click it and then hit choose. Now we have a name, we have a location where my project will be stored. Now we can hit create. Okay, now that we have a blank canvas in Premiere Pro, let me show you how to import the assets. So what I'm going to do right here, it says import media to start. So I'm going to right click, I'm going to hit import. I'm going to go to my desktop. I'm going to double click on this folder. I'm going to click on my Vids folder and import. Premiere now brings in the entire folder and even keeps the name Vids. I'm going to do it one more time. Right click, import. This time I don't want Vids. I'm going to go back to my main folder. Click on Pics, import, and here they are. One last time. I can also double click here and it does the same thing. Go back to my main folder, click Music, and hit import. And these are the main folders I want to work with. I got my video, my pics, and my music. Now, before we continue, let me give you a little rundown or a little tour of the interface. This bottom left corner here is called the project window. And also you can see we have tabs, okay? Tabs are very important in Premiere Pro, and we are going to be using them a lot. Now to the top left, we have what I call, or what Premiere calls, the preview window. Okay, this is where we preview our clips before we throw them down into our timeline. So up here we also have some tabs. This is the source, effects control, which we'll be using a lot, essential graphics. We won't get into this today, nor this one, nor this one. If you don't need this one, like the metadata, we're not going to use this. So I'm just going to click right here on this little sandwich menu and just hit close panel. Same for the audio mixer. We're not going to use it today. Close panel. And these we will have. We will keep these three open here. All right, to my top right, this part here is called the program window. And the program window shows you what your final video is going to look like. This bottom part here is called the timeline. The timeline and the program window are pretty much tied together, okay? So what you see on the timeline is what you will see in the program window. So we have project, preview, program, and timeline. Creating a sequence. We are now ready to create our first sequence. Now, the most common video size and format today is 1920 by 1080 at 30 frames per second, which is also known as Full HD. Let's create our first sequence. We'll come down to this little icon here where it says New Item, click it, and go to Sequence. Click this. And then from here, all these are just presets. So we are just going to pick the most common one, and we'll pick this one here, 1080p 30. We will give our sequence a name. We will keep our naming scheme called A Day at School. And then hit OK. All right, so now the timeline is now active. And so is the program window. And this is our first sequence right here. And this is the icon the sequence has. Now, just to stay organized, I'm going to create a new bin, which is like a new folder. And I'm going to name this sequence. Sequences. Click out. And then I'm going to drag this one into my sequence folder. Okay, so this is the folder view. If we click this one here by the pencil, we can see this in the list view. For my personal preference, I'm going to stick with the icon view. Okay, now that we have made our first sequence, I'm going to click Command S on the Mac or Control S on Windows. This saves our progress. Auto saving. It's very important to save often. We also want Premiere to help us out. So what we're going to do, we're going to come up here where it says Premiere Pro. We're going to click it, and then we're going to go to the preferences, and then come down to autosave. Click there. Make sure this check is active, okay? So if it's not, just go ahead and click it, and 15 minutes is good. Premiere will always save the progress that I had made so far. Adding assets to the timeline. So this is where the fun part begins. I'm going to start adding assets to my timeline. The first thing I want to do is to add my logo to the beginning of the video. I know my logo is inside the pics folder. If I double click, I get this floating window. Okay, so when I have this floating window, if it comes up as list, I really can't see much, but I know this is my logo because it says film logo, but I really like to see my assets, so I always switch to icon view. I suggest you do the same. Just click icon view, and then you can see everything here. If I double click my logo, I can see it in my preview window. Okay, so this is just my preview. I can now, I'm going to go ahead and close this one for now. I don't need this floating window. I can always double click it to get it back. So I'm closing that. Now this is my logo that I want to use. and I want to drag this over to my timeline. So the way I do that is I click this little film icon here, it turns into a little hand, arrow, and now is a hand. Click and hold, and I'm going to drop it in here. It doesn't matter if you drop it in the first layer, second or third. It doesn't really matter where you drop it. So here's my logo. Now, the issue with my logo is it's too big. It's much too big for the screen. I really want it smaller, and then I wanted to put my company name under the logo. So let's do that now. You see this here, this is called the title safe. That means if you have any text past these lines, it will not show properly on some screens. So I keep this on, and this is where you toggle that on and off. So I want to make my logo a little smaller. And before I do that, let me show you this here. This big thing here, or this rod, looks like a little rod. This is the zoom controls for the timeline. If I click and hold and I slide it in, I'm zooming into my timeline. It's really not adding extra time. It's just zooming in. Right now it's 4 seconds long. If I zoom in all the way, which looks like it's a lot, it's still 4 seconds long. Like I said, it's not adding time. It's just letting you zoom into the asset. So I want to see the entire asset. This is good here. Now to activate it, I'm going to have to click it. So I click it one time, and you can see this little white outline around the asset. Click it one more time. I click out. Right now it's not active. I click it, it's active. So now if I want to make it smaller, I activate my asset, and now I will go to the effects control. Remember this tab, we're going to use it a lot. Effects control. Okay, so since my asset is selected, my effects controls are active. Watch this. When I click out, see there's nothing here because there's no properties, because I have nothing selected. As soon as I click this, something will come up right here. Click it. These are the properties. These are the properties that belong to my asset right here. So I want to make it smaller. I'm going to scale it. Here is my scale. Look at this. I can make it even a little bigger, but I want to make it smaller. So about right there is good. I like that. 25%. If I want to be precise, I can always click on the number and enter 25 on my keyboard. And it's perfect, 25%. Now, if I want to move it up, what I want to do, I want to still keep my asset selected, and then I'm just going to click on the word motion. You can do it from here if you want. You can move the logo up and down from here. But I want a little more precise control, so I click on motion. When I clicked on motion, these little dots appeared. That means I'm allowed to come with my mouse, and with this one here, with the selection tool, I'm allowed to move it. I can move it anywhere I want on the screen. I want to put it right there, and I'm going to turn on my margins, my safe margins, just to make sure I'm not going over them. So that's good right here. I'm going to stay under this one. Okay, good. That is the correct size that I want for my logo. Adding a title. Now I'm ready to put the text underneath my logo. I'm going to go to my text tool, click it, and then I'm going to click on the screen. And then I'm just going to type in Dog Father Films, just like that. Now if I want to center this, again, I'm in the text tool. I'm going to come up to my selection, and since my text is still active, I can just move this to the middle right here, right there. Now if I want to change the font, I come up here to the essential graphics. If you don't have this, let's say I'm going to close it out. If you don't see essential graphics, come up here to Windows and come to essential graphics. Here it is. And it appeared right here. Sometimes it will appear at random places, like it'll be here sometimes. You can always grab it, hold it, and then just drop it right there. And then since this moved, You see this big blue thing? This is it's taking up like almost all my screen. I can click and hold from right here and resize. That's the normal size. This is a good size right there. This is fine. Okay, now I want to change the font of this. I don't like this one. So with my Essential Tools property selected, click on here and then come down to text. Here it is right here. This is like a little Word document inside Premiere Pro, like, you know, Word or Google Docs or whatever. You can modify your text here. You can make it bigger from here, smaller, but I want to change the font from right here. I'm going to use this drop down menu and I'm going to do, let me see what this one looks like. Okay, that looks fine. I like that font. Luckiest guy. I'm going to make it a little bigger. And if I don't know where the center is, I can use this tool right here. It says Align Center. Click it and it'll put it right in the center for you. Looks like my timeline moved when that moved. Okay, so now I have my logo here and I have my title here. I'm going to align this title to my logo. So with my selection tool here, I'm just going to drag it over. Now this little blue thing here is called the CTI, which stands for Current Time Indicator, or some people call it the scrubber. So because you can scrub your timeline with this. Okay, but the official name is CTI, Fade In, Fade Out. Now that I have my title and my logo on the timeline, I want these to fade in at the beginning of the video, and then I want them to fade out before I start adding anything else. So I'm going to go to the Effects tab. Let's come down to a Transition, come down to Dissolve, and look for Cross Dissolve. I'm going to add it to the top. One more time, I'm going to add it to the end. Now I'm going to do it again to my logo. Drag and drop. Make sure you're on top of the asset. One more time. There you go. So now if I scrub, you can see that my title and my logo are fading in and then it fades out. If I wanted to play in real time, I can either click this button here or I can hit the space bar on my keyboard. Perfect. That's the way I want it. So now you know how to fade in and fade out. Adding video and images. Okay, now that I have my title and my logo ready, I want to start adding videos to my timeline. I'm going to click on the vids folder. I have the floating window. And let us begin by the school day by showing the arrival of the bus. I'm going to double click and I'm going to move this floating window to the bottom right now. I'm going to put it right here for right now since I don't need it. And in the preview window, I can scrub through the footage. Okay, I can see all the kids coming in. I do like the whole thing. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to drop the whole video on my timeline. One more time, I'm going to grab this icon here, the little film icon, click, hold it, and drop it into my timeline, just like this. I can move this out of the way or close it out. And now, if I scroll back and I hit the space bar, my logo fades out and then the video comes in. Very good. Now I want to zoom out on my timeline. You can also zoom out by clicking minus on your keyboard. Minus, you can zoom out. And you can use the plus to zoom in instead of coming down here all the time. just use your keyboard shortcuts. Minus, plus, minus, plus. So you know what? I do like this bus coming in, but I think it's a little too long. It's like 32 seconds long. So what I want to do is I want to cut it. If my video is here in the timeline, I can cut it from here. Let me see. I want there, start. I'm going to drag this starting point. I'm going to drag it until it hits my CTI. Right there is good. Now I'll scrub a little more. I'll have 1, 2, 3 kids. All right, and then I'm going to drag the ending in. All right, so I'm left with this piece here, and then to close this out, I'm just going to drag it over. And now I'm going to rewind a little bit, hit play. Bus stops. One, 2, 3. All right, now that I'm watching this footage, I think the bus takes way too long to open the door. So I'm going to get rid of that part as well. So I'm going to scrub right there until, let me see, maybe until the first kid starts to come down. Right there. So all this part I don't need. Again, you can see this icon changes like to a red arrow and it's pointing to my right. If I click it, it's going to begin cutting all the part that I don't want. There you go. So if I hit play from here, I can see the kids are starting to come out. 1, 2, 3. 3 kids is good. So now, again, I'm going to drag this over. And I'll play it one more time. Logo goes out. Kids come to school. Okay, good. Very good. I like that. So we now have logo. We have the first clip here. I'm going to go again to our vids folder, double click it. I'm going to select another clip. Let's see. Oh, here's the stop sign. Double click it. Close this out. And let me see, what part of this video do I like? There you go. I like that. All right, so we'll start here. Now, instead of me dragging it to the timeline and cutting it over here, I'm just going to cut it inside my preview window. Okay, so let me show you how to set in and out points. This is the icon for the in point. It says mark in. You can also press I on your keyboard. I. And all this part that's gray, that's lighter gray, that means this is the part that is still good. Okay, so I'm going to right there. That's the part I want. And with this other icon, it says mark out. Or you can hit O on your keyboard. O. So now we have a dark gray here, and a light gray here. So whatever's light is whatever it is that you have selected. Now I'm going to drag it into the timeline. You can drop it anywhere. You can drop it here, here, here. Doesn't really matter. So we hit play again, and it goes. Very cool. If I want to stretch it out a little more, I can. I don't have to go up here anymore. I can just stretch it like this, and this is where it ends. So I think I'm going to leave it like that. So here we go. Stop sign closes, and then it ends. Very good. Now you know how to cut your video on the timeline itself, or you can do it here on the preview window. And you always drag it with this icon. Adding music. Okay, before I go any further, what I want to start doing is adding a music track to my timeline. Now let me show you something interesting on the timeline. Okay, there's this divider here. Now this part here, from this divider on up, is just for video, images, photos, graphics, anything. Okay, Now this bottom part here is only for music. You cannot put a video on the music. See, gives you the little no. You can, let me show you the music tracks. Here you go. And we can't drop music tracks onto the videos, but it will accept it in the music side. Okay, when you go underneath that divider, you can start dropping the music. I'm going to go ahead and drop my first track here, and this space here, again, I'm just going to move it over. And now when I scrub, you can start hearing the music. Let's play it. Cool. All right, so I'm going to zoom out again with this one. I can zoom out with this tool so I can see my whole track. And what I want to do is I want to keep adding clips. I want to keep adding clips to my timeline to kind of, I guess, fill it up until my music is done. So let's do that. Vids. I'm going to add another clip. I like the apple. I'm going to double click it to load it into my preview window. I'm going to use my endpoint, drag, right there is good, out, in, out, and then I just drag to my timeline. Like I said, it doesn't matter where you put it, okay? So this space here, it makes no difference because once that clip is done, it's going to drop down to the next one. Let's hit the play. Okay, right there is good enough. This clip is a little too long, so I'm going to cut it there. I'm going to drag it in, and this is good. It's now cut. I'm going to do a little more. Kids coming into the classroom. If you just kind of hover your cursor on top of the video, it shows you what the video looks like. So I'm going to use this one here. Double click it. I'm going to move this to the side. Let's find our endpoint. There you go. Before he high fives teacher. Right there. In. Scrub. Right there's good. Out. And then drag to my timeline. And I always like to play it. Every time I put anything down on my timeline, I always like to play it to see what it's looking like. So I'm going to rewind it just a little bit with my CTI. Put it right there and hit play. Okay, it's looking good. How to add markers. Okay, now let me show you how to add a marker. A marker in Premiere Pro is kind of like a sticky note. Okay, so here I have two markers, two red markers. If I zoom into them, if I hover over it, it says fix 1. This one also says fix 2. If I double click, I can see that I made myself a note. And the note says, white balance this clip. And this one says, let's see what this one says. Make clip black and white. BW stands for black and white. So to add a marker, let's say this one. If I wanted to add a note to this, I just click on this one. It says add marker. Right here, right where my CTI is sitting, I click the marker and it gives me one. If I double click it, I'll color this blue and just call it fix 3. Replace this apple with something else. and then I hit OK. So that's how you add markers to your timeline. If you want to remove this marker, let's say you replaced it already and you're good, right click and then clear selected marker. If I click this, the marker goes away. How to white balance video. All right, so now let's go ahead and white balance this clip. Let's go to effects. That is a video effect. That is under color correction. And then we are going to find this effect called Lumetri color. The white balance action is hidden inside Lumetri color. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this onto my clip. I'm going to come up here to effects control, enable Lumetri color. Here's basic correction, drop down, and here's white balance. With this color picker, I'm going to select something from this clip that should be white. I'm going to go and turn this off too. Color picker, go here and say, hey, this paper's got to be white. Now, you can see the difference. So Premiere says the clip has now been white balanced. Make clip black and white. Our next task is to, if I double click this, it says make clip black and white. We're going to use the same effect, Lumetri color. Okay, so I'm going to show you where to find it again. You go under video effects, color correction, Lumetri color. Remember this name because these are some of the tools you are going to use often in Premiere Pro, and this is one of them, Lumetri color. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and drop it here. I'm going to go to my effects controls, come down to Lumetri color, enable it by clicking on it, just by clicking on the name, go under basic color correction, and this keep going down right here, and you want to take the saturation all the way to the left. So drop down and drag it. And as you can see, the clip is now black and white. Come back up here and then you can turn off the effect. Color, black and white. Color, black and white. And now you know how to white balance a clip and how to make another clip black and white. Now I'm going to show you how to do a freeze frame. So what we want to do now, we want to freeze this guy as soon as he jumps right there. Okay, that's the clip we want to freeze. So we want to get him jumping and then freeze right there. Once my CTI is placed where I want to freeze the frame, there is this icon here. It looks like a little camera, and it's called Export Frame. I'm going to click it one time. And Premiere Pro says, hey, I'm going to freeze this frame. I'm going to call it this name right here. I'm going to make a JPEG, and I'm going to store it in this folder here. But I don't know where this folder is. So I'm going to say, hey, you know what? I already have a folder where I need you to store everything. So I'm going to browse. Premiere will open up. I'm going to say, hey, go to my desktop. Here we go. Go to my desktop. Here's a folder I made. And I want you to throw that frame inside my pics folder. So double click here and then hit choose. Now every time I freeze a frame, Premiere is going to save it inside my pics folder that we made. And I also want this dialog box checked, import into project. Okay, so now it's giving me a name for the photo. It's going to save it as a JPEG. It's going to save it in my pics folder that we made, and then it's going to import it into my project. I'm going to say, okay, that's good. That's what I want. I'm going to hit OK. And here is the frame. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to click and hold. I'm going to drop it right there. And then I'm going to make this frame extend but just by dragging it, I'm going to extend it all the way to wherever this one was going to end. So now And also what I'm going to do is, since I'm done with this one, I'm going to put this one inside my pics folder just to remain organized. I got to stay organized, okay? So I'm going to drop this in there. Good. So now if I play this, I'm going to hit the play. After the black and white clip, we see the guy. He's going to jump and then freeze. See, he stays frozen because this is the duration that I dragged my photo. So if I want him to keep jumping again, I'll make this image a little smaller. So he'll jump, he'll freeze, and then he'll go back. Well, at least he'll continue jumping. Let me see. Freeze, 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 and then he's already on the other side. A cool trick would be to do the following. Let me show you. So here he jumps right there. To split this, here is a little tool called the razor tool. I'm going to activate it and I'm going to cut. I'm going to go back to my selection tool because I don't need this anymore. I'm going to go back to the selection tool, and you will use this selection tool like 80% of the time. These tools you'll use sometimes, but this one you'll use mostly. So then watch this. Now I can move this. So I have the same clip, but it's cut right there where I said. So now I'm going to just drag this one out, just like this. So now he comes in, he's frozen, and then he continues his jump. Okay, so let's play this. He jumps, freeze, and then when that time ends, he continues his jump. That's the way to pull off the effect. So now you know how to do a freeze frame. How to resize a video. Some clips are bigger than 1080, like when you shoot a video in 4K. 4K just means that it's a bigger size video than 1080. And sometimes it's 720, which means it's a little smaller than 1080. So when I drop this in here, since this clip is 4K, you see it doesn't fit because the 4K video is much bigger than my 1080 timeline. So what I do is I'm going to resize it. Anytime you have a video that's bigger, you right click and then you come down to scale to frame size. And Premiere will do the rest. Click it, and there it is. Now it fits perfectly. Okay, let me show you that one more time. I'm going to Command Z. So this video is 4K, is bigger. Right click, make sure you select the clip, right click on it, and come down to scale to frame size. All right, now this one here is smaller. You see all this black space around it? That means this video is smaller than 1080. This one was too big, this one's too small. But again, we're going to do the same thing. Okay, we're going to right click. If you don't see that, just keep going down. There's a little thing here until you see scale to frame size. And Premiere Pro makes it fit. You have a 4K video that fits in the 1080 timeline, and you have a 720 video that fits in a 1080 timeline. So now you know how to resize a clip. How to use the Chroma Key. When I say Chroma Key, this is what I mean. I'm going to drop an effect on this, and I'm telling Premiere that I don't want the green part. Okay, so let's go to the Effects tab. This time it's still a video effects. We're going to come down to Keying, Video Effects, Keying, and then we're going to come down to the Ultra Key. Drag, drop. Okay, so you say, well, nothing happened. Nope, nothing happens until you make it happen. So let's go ahead and close this for now. Let's come down to the Effects control again. And if you don't see this, click out and then click it in again. It must be some kind of bug, but sometimes if you don't see it, click out, click in, and it should come back. Okay, so here's Ultra Key. Right now is set to black. With the color picker, I'm going to tell Premiere, hey, Premiere, I need you to remove the green. So I'm going to pick the green, and there it is. All the green is gone. Now I want to put something in the bottom layer, okay? So whatever layer's at the bottom becomes the background. So bottom equals background. So let's go back to our videos, vids, and I have a shot of a studio. Here's the studio right here. I don't need it to go into my preview window. I can just drop it from here, just like this. And then I'm going to cut in the timeline. Let me see what part of the talent do I want? Right here, right before he starts waving. So I'm going to bring it in. I'm going to cut this back part too. Now they're even. My background and my talent are now even. So now you can see he is perfectly keyed on the new backdrop. Now you know how to do the chroma key. Fade the audio. Okay, so now on my timeline, I have my audio track. I have all these little assets I put down on the timeline. Now, the issue I'm having now is that the video is longer than the audio. So after here, this first track ends. My video keeps going. What I want to do now is I want to add a second audio track here, but just a little bit, just enough to finish this off, okay? So I'm going to go to my music. I'm going to drag my second one. And I know, just a little tip here, whatever is blue is being used, okay? So this one's white, this one's not being used. Same thing for videos, check it out. You see these little blue clips here? Blue, 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 blue. That means these are being used on my timeline, just so you know, okay? You have a little visual reminder. So I know for sure I'm not using this one. So I'm going to drop this one here. I'm going to drop it in for now. And what I want to do is before I fade this track into this one, I have to cut a little piece of the end of this one and a little piece of the beginning of this one. That way they can kind of overlap, okay? So it'll be like this. See this overlap? Premiere uses this overlap to fade the audio. All right, so I'm going to cut a little bit from here. That's good. And I'm going to cut a little bit from here. I'm just dragging. And I'm going to put them together. Now, in order for me to crossfade these, I'm going to go to the effects. This time I'm going to go to the audio transitions because I want to transition from one song to the next. Under crossfade, just hit the first. This one's fine. It doesn't matter. They all do the same thing. So constant power, I click, hold it, and I drop it in between the clips. Now we have this little icon here. I'm going to zoom in to my timeline. I can go through here, or I can just put my CTI here, and with my keyboard just plus, and then I can make this one longer. Okay, the longer you make it, the more it's going to fade from one track to the next. Let's see how this sounds. Okay, I kind of don't like it. I think it's too drastic. So I'm going to make this smaller, see how that sounds. Again, I'm going to play it. That I like better than the longer one. So you kind of have to play with the duration of the fade, okay? To get it where it kind of makes sense. The fade before was too long, but this one is fine. You can hardly hear when one is ending and the other one is beginning. Check it out one more time. I like it. One more time. nice. I like it. I'll keep that. I'll keep it just the way it is. Now, if I zoom out, now we have another issue. Now my audio track is longer than my video. So to fix this problem, I'm going to drag my audio all the way to the end, right there, until they match. I'm going to put my CTI right here. I'm going to zoom in. And let me see, where do I want this to end? All right, so now I don't want to show the Samsung logo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it. I'm going to drag it. Let me see where I want it. I'm dragging it back right there, right there. I'm going to put in my own fade. So I'm going to drag it there, drag, 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 and that's where the video ends. Boom. So now I want a fade at the end of the video, and I also want a fade at the end of the music. So let's do that. So let's go ahead and fade the music since I want already here. Audio transition says constant power. Go ahead and drop it here and then make it longer and then play it. See how it sounds. Okay, I like that fade. It's good. Now I'm going to fade my video. It's not an audio transition, okay? So I'll close that one out. It is a video transition. So switch from audio. It's not a video effect. It is a transition. So you want to come down to this one. Under the dissolve folder, come to cross dissolve. And there, I will drop it here. And I'll make it longer. Let me see how it looks like when it's short. Okay, it doesn't look too bad. I'm going to make it a little longer. Let me see how that looks. Okay, so yeah. So now you have learned how to fade out a video and how to fade out the audio, okay? And also how to fade between clips here, how to export this video. The last thing you want to do is go up here to the export tab, click it, and now we get this dialog box, okay? So Premiere says, hey, what is the name of this? A Day at the School, yep, and it's going to be an MP4, great, that's what we want. And then this one here says, hey, I'm going to save it to this location. It says something, 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 HR hiring promo. Nope, that's not the right folder we made. So we're going to click on this blue link here. And Premiere says, okay, if you don't want to save it there, where do you want to save it? I say, well, I have a folder I made that's on my desktop. Here it is. It has my date and it has the same name. So I'm going to double click here. And then once I'm inside the folder, I say, okay, you can go ahead and save it inside this folder. So go ahead and click save here. So now we have the name, we have the location of where we want the video. And now for the presets in the format, we do want H.264, okay? If you have some different, if you have like QuickTime, come here to the drop down menu and look for H.264. Okay, that's the MP4 format. That's the video that is most widely used right now, H.264. Okay, so under this one, if you don't see, like if you don't understand this, that's okay. Come down to more presets and then just type in U, Y-O-U. And it will filter out, and the one we want is this one, YouTube 1080 Full HD. And it's telling us that this is a preset that is good enough for YouTube. So if it's good enough for YouTube, it's good enough for every other social media out there, like Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat. You know, it's going to be good quality. So let's select this one and come down here and hit OK. So now we have our name, we have our location on where to save, we have a preset, we know we wanted H.264, and everything else just leave it alone, because when you selected YouTube, Premiere Pro fixed everything else that needed fixing from here. So don't mess with any of this stuff. Okay, after you select your preset, you're good to go. And then just hit export. And Premiere Pro will begin exporting this video for us. So this process here is called rendering. Okay, this is the process that that Premiere or all the video editors do when they're exporting your video. What it's doing is just stitching everything together and making everything into one complete file. Okay, that's it. We did it, guys. So those were the very basic steps to Adobe Premiere Pro. So if you have any other questions, or if you feel you are more advanced and you want like more advanced tutorials on Premiere, just reach out. I'm here to help. See you next time.